Okay, so I've come across some interesting little segments here on Princess Diana and the car crash that caused her death back in 1997. And I remember quite distinctly where I was the day that I got the news, and I was doing some modelling actually at the local Royal Show, and I was just driving my car to work, and heard the news on the radio. So yeah, leave your comments below. Where were you when you heard that Princess Diana had passed away? But this is a new conspiracy theory, well, sort of an old conspiracy theory that forces that be conspired against Princess Diana. I think at the time, I think the biggest conspiracy theory was that the royal family didn't want like a Muslim to be in the royal family, and that's why they killed her off, her and Dodi. And then there was the evidence at the time was that some guy saw some huge giant flash that blinded the driver, and it wasn't a paparazzi flash because there was no paparazzi around and so forth. But I tend to think that it's just motivated by money. We'll play the clip, but this guy is just flogging a book, the usual. There's a couple of clips here that we'll show. So let's get stuck into it. And pardon my voice. I've had the flu the last few days. That's why I lost my voice completely. So glad to have it back so I can talk to you guys.
Now, when news of Princess Diana's death was beamed around the globe, millions were left in shock. Among them, an American family who witnessed the chaotic crash scene unfold.
Jack and Robin Firestone were in the Alma Tunnel before ambulances arrived that fateful night in 1997, and they believe what they saw could solve the mystery surrounding the death of the Princess of Wales.
A Princess of Wales has died after a car crash in Paris.
It was a frenzied and horrifying scene.
Could the police officer at the scene have done more if he did not have to deal with paparazzi?
He wasn't doing anything, so he could have done something. Why couldn't somebody put their camera down, go to the car, and be a lifesaver or attempt to give mouth-to-mouth, get these people out?
At the time, the Firestones had no idea they were witnessing the death of Princess Diana. Driving home from a dinner cruise with their 12-year-old son, their taxi stopped next to the crash to investigate.
These photographers were all over the car like sharks would be after raw meat.
There was a body that was slumped over, a woman's body with her head turned to her shoulder, almost up against the window.
No one or two police
body approached the car. They didn't help at all. Photographers eagerly going at every angle they could possibly go.
Robin says she also saw two formal-looking black cars parked awkwardly in front of Diana's chauffeur-driven vehicle. The couple claim French authorities didn't want their witness statements, and they were treated poorly on the stand during the final inquest in 2007.
All right, so I'll do some comments here. Like, first of all, photographers pretty much don't know first aid. I don't know if the paparazzi are taught first aid, but I doubt it. And there wasn't really much they could do, and I'd assume that they called an ambulance, surely. And the second part was, what were they talking about then? Oh, my mind's gone blank. My flu's got to my head. Anyway, let's just watch the clip. But I wouldn't blame the photographers for not administering first aid, because they probably didn't know what to do, really. Like, and you don't want to move someone. You don't want to move someone when they're in that situation, in case they've had a broken neck or something, and you do more damage. So as much as I hated what the paparazzi were doing, taking all the photos, I don't blame them for not administering first aid there.
To this day, more than 20 years on, the Firestones believe Diana's death was definitely not an accident.
And Jack Firestone has Skyped into us from Savannah, Georgia in the United States. Jack, good morning to you. You were there at the scene that night. What do you believe happened to Diana?
Well, in short, and I've never put it this way before quite, but I think she was assassinated.
Okay, So what did you see that night that makes you say that?
Well, it wasn't just what I saw that night. It was what I experienced the next day as well, and the day after that, and the day after that while we were in Paris. But what we saw that night, Sam, is we saw absolute carnage in the Alma Tunnel. My wife and I and our son were in the back seat of a taxi cab, and we were in stop and go traffic. Finally, at the point at which our taxi cab got up to the point of why this stop and go traffic was there, he put his taxi in park, and he hoisted himself out the window. He kind of knew there was something going on, and it was very odd that he did that, and he did that for about 30 seconds or so. So we really took a lot of things in. Photographers were swarming the car. My wife noticed a policeman right next to the paparazzi. I noticed that I thought was most interesting, that there were maybe 200 feet by the west entrance to the tunnel, there were 2 police cars and 2 policemen, and they were just talking with each other and maybe even laughing and joking. And
Hang on here. That's speculation. He's saying maybe even laughing and joking. It looks like he's trying to spin a bit of a story here to sell his book. I remember what I was going to say to you. The last stop I did was where they said there was 2 cars that were parked awkwardly in front. As you'd know, there's you've got the paparazzi and so forth, but I'd be pretty sure that there'd be some other official vehicles that were catching up as well. There'd be decoy vehicles and so forth as well. So I'd say that they were the vehicles that I was seeing. There's no men in suits sort of thing, men in black, the conspiracy. But as you see, I just believe he's trying to flog his book.
Just letting these paparazzi have a field day.
So, who do you think assassinated her?
Well, I'm not going to necessarily tell you point blank who I think or what kind of organization was involved, but in fact, it's such a complicated question that my wife and I wrote a book called Chasing Diana, Perception versus Reality, that will, in fact, if you read between the lines, answer that question for you.
Okay.
Oh.
Jack, it's fascinating.
It's a mystery.
Check it out. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time from Savannah. We appreciate it. It's just horrendous to think about that she was dying and all those photographers were there. It's awful, isn't it? Check that book out.
There we go. Check the book out. So we had another Royal reporter was talking about it later on in the day as well, so I'll play that one.
An American couple who say they witnessed the car crash that killed Princess Diana, they're saying that it was no accident.
They are, and it's
what
interesting. Well, look, they say that there were 2 dark cars parked in front of Diana's, the car, the Mercedes, when they went into the tunnel. They were there quite soon after. Look, there are conspiracy theories all the time. I'm questioning why so late. Why have they come out? Did they speak to investigators? We know that the British police, under Operation Paget, spent 3 years, 14 police officers, an 832-page report, which conclusively found that the driver, Henri Paul, was 3 times over the legal limit of alcohol, and that those that died, he, Jodie Fayed and Diana, none of them were wearing seatbelts. Now that's been conclusive. I can imagine, and obviously that Operation Paget was started by the Queen's coroner after suggestions that the royal family were involved in some sort of conspiracy to knock Diana off. I think it's upsetting all these years later, and I can't understand why they've come out now.
All right, so I think that pretty much covers it. I'm of the impression that they're just trying to flog a book. And obviously ran out of money, and they want to flog a book, and they've brought up an unusual situation. They were in Paris at the same time that Princess Diana had the car accident. And if you're going to believe the conspiracy theories, you've also got to try and figure out how the men in black got Henri Paul drunk. Well, that probably wouldn't be too hard. I think he was a heavy drinker. Then you've got to work out how we're going to stop Princess Diana from putting on her seatbelt. I guess you could muck around the mechanisms of the seatbelt, I guess. But Now, these are all far-fetched, and I used to love conspiracy theories, but as I'm getting older, I'm beginning to believe that most of them are just rubbish. But here's another one. So, what do you guys think? Do you think Princess Diana was knocked off? Yeah, at the beginning of the video, I put in my 2 cents that there probably was a motive for it. I don't think the British royal family were ready for like an Islamic person in the royal family, Islamic blood. And also I think the way the Queen reacted after Diana's death, they said that she was too stoic and not emotional and so forth. So that sort of added to the conspiracy theory fires. So what do you think? Leave your comments below, and I'll do my next video soon, probably the next hour. And it's a little bit more cheery than this one, so I'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell button, and share to your friends, and I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.